Hey guys, Kenny here, Ken Small Engines. It's winter, snow time, and we're always talking about snow throwers and fixing, repairing them and all that. And I get a lot of questions about what's my opinion of single stage versus dual stage or two stage. And I've been working on a bunch of them over the past 2 months. We've had a lot of snow. So I'm just gonna go through my opinions on them, what I like, what I don't like, and we hope you enjoy it. All right, we'll see you soon. Okay, welcome back, guys. Well, as you can see, there's a couple of them in my driveway here, and basically people ask me, okay, single stage, two stage, what do you like, what do you dislike? Well, right here you have an MTD single stage 21 inch, and it's got rubber paddles screwed into an auger system, and simple system. These I just replaced yesterday. You can see the old paddles are here. Okay, here's all the old paddles. They're worn down, and the screws that come out of them. Now here's a tip, guys. The screws that attach these rubber paddles to an MTD are basically 5/16 self-threading screws. They're fantastic for replacing the worn out screws on the bottom of two-stage snow blowers. That access panel on the bottom of a two-stage thrower, the screws are 1/4 inch and they always strip out. These are great, so don't throw them out. When you're going to put new paddles on a thrower, it'll come with brand new hardware, okay? It'll come with brand new screws. Save the old ones, because these things work perfect to fasten the sides of belt covers, okay? When they get stripped out, these things work perfect, okay? If you notice on here, you got a belt cover screw right there. When those screws strip out, these things, they're phenomenal. So save them, don't throw them out. And also, don't throw out the rubber. The rubber on these, heck, I could use these to do an impeller modification on a two-stage thrower. I could cut paddles. I mean, if you look, I can cut them out of this too, and I could make a bunch of them. This is all, look at that. It's got the woven fabric in it. It's all super, insulated and just really tough. It looks like it's tires. It actually looks like it's ground up tires if you look at it. So don't throw these out. You can use them to do paddle impeller modifications on two-stage throwers. Anyway, getting back to it. I used to hate single stage throwers. They were cheap. They never seemed to work right. And I wasn't really a big fan. But you know what? Times have changed, okay? The biggest issue you have with these is the paddles wear down so they don't scrape as well to throw snow up the chute, okay? Now these are brand new paddles. They fit really nice. And I tell you guys, I tried this thing out the other day on some of the leftover snow that we had, because we had a lot of snow, and it worked phenomenal. And before I even got the paddles, and when the paddles were all worn out, I actually used it on my driveway. Now my driveway, I got ruts and I got cracks and I got bumps and I got all kinds of stuff. But that little MTD thrower with the worn out paddles scraped everything down. So it was really nice, and it exposed the tar. And I tell you, I was sold. So I said to myself, you really need to get a single stage thrower. But then I said, you know what, MTD, I mean, it's a great little thing. Don't get me wrong. They're not that expensive. But I've been hearing, and I've been fixing a lot of Toro throwers on the single stage. And everybody says the Toro has a phenomenal system. So what did I do, guys? I found a Toro. And this one here is a model 518 ZR, which is basically a 99cc 4-stroke engine, all right? No oil, if you notice, it's just pure gas, no oil. So you don't have to worry about mixing it, okay? It's got the chute lock on it, so you could lock the chute in position. These things tend to move if it doesn't have a chute lock. This has a lock, so it won't move. The paddles, everything are in great shape. It really wasn't used much at all. I mean, if you notice, there's really like no rust or anything. This thing is like brand new, okay? There's no rust, there's no anything. It's got very, very low hours. And I paid a little bit more than half of what it cost new. Okay, like I said, it's in great shape. The way you can tell too, the stickers aren't all mangled up. There's no rust on it, really. There's nothing. I mean, usually the sides of them are all rusty, but Toro has that nice paddle system that really, really works well. Okay, and here's a tip. If you look at the Toro model number, see how that says 518ZR? If you ever see one that has a -C, like an R-C or an E-C, the C stands for commercial. And commercial means that those paddles are going to be 30% thicker than the standard paddles. And they do interchange. They're a little more expensive. These paddles, if you notice, they're about 5/16 thick. You get the thicker paddles, they're literally about 3/8 of an inch thick, if not thicker, but they're $44 a piece from the dealer. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but you know what? How often are you replacing those things? Every 3 or 4 years? It really isn't that bad. So I splurged. I bought a Toro Power Clear. I'm excited for the next snow. I'm hoping we have a snow. I'm hoping Mrs. Pate is right, and we're going to get a decent snow in another week or so. Hopefully one more storm. But anyway, single stage, I do like them now. I would recommend them. If you don't have a lot of money, you can get the MTD type, which is actually pretty good, for about $100 used, okay? But you're probably gonna have to buy new paddles. If you go online, okay, you can get aftermarket paddles anywhere from, say, $30 to $40 for these things, depending. If you want the screws or not, the kits with the screws are a little more expensive because it comes with the hardware. I'd recommend getting the kit with the screws. That way you can take the rest of them and use them for something else. The Toro paddles, the stock paddles, aftermarket, they're about $35 a set. The factory ones are literally about $80 for stock, about $90 for the commercial ones. But when it comes to single stage, yeah, I'm gonna recommend single stage now. I like single stage. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like my dual stage, my 2-stage machine. I got this sucker a month or so ago, and this is my baby. And Jason Pate will agree. It's a very, very low hours Aaron's 1027. Very low hours, literally almost no hours. If you look at it, there's no rust, the wear, everything. It's perfect. I mean, it's literally, and what I paid for it, my God, I think I paid 20% of what it was new, because the guy just wanted to get rid of it because he got it as a gift and he had no use for it. Anyway, love the dual stage, all the options that you get. You know, you get the chute rotators, you get the chute flippers, serrated augers, which I can't say enough about. Serrated augers will chomp up the ice and get you through all kinds of stuff. So many great features. Chains on the tires to get you going. This one actually has a differential lock and unlock here, where you can unlock the differential for easy turning. It's just, you know, my favorite engine, the Tecumseh Snow King. You can't beat those. It's just a monster of a snow thrower. Now, I have a thing for the old Troy-Bilt brand when it was Garden Way, before MTD bought them. Troy-Bilt used to make a heck of a snow machine. This one, it's in bad shape. The engine's blown, the tires are flat, the auger's bent, but you know what? 40 bucks. 40 bucks is about what the starter will cost. So for 40 bucks, I got something I could use that, you know, it's pretty good. So, speaking of that, here comes another one of my customers with another single stage. This one I'm going to show you is a Murray. Look at the difference in the paddles. How you doing, Ed?
Hi, Ken, how are you?
I'm just doing a little video here on snow throwers. This is a Murray, Craftsman branded Murray. So I'm going to shut the camera off and be back in a few minutes. Okay guys, sorry about that. I'm back now. This is the Murray. This is a Craftsman model that was made by Murray. Now, one thing about these, okay, these have riveted on paddles, and you have to drill the rivets out, which is very simple. A 1/4-inch drill. They're aluminum rivets. You just drill out the backside of the rivet. They fall right off. And when you buy the kits, they come with hardware, okay? So you replace it with the hardware. Now, the problem with these, the biggest problem with these that I see, when you replace the paddles, you have to make sure that it's not rubbing on the scraper bar. And this one was rubbing, and it caused the guy a lot of problems. If you notice, look down here in the corner, okay? Watch as I rotate it. If you notice, see how the rubber is hitting? It's actually hitting that plastic, causing the problem, okay? When I set this up, nothing was hitting, everything was fine, but I don't know if he hit something, bent the plastic or whatever, but now the rubber's hitting and it would stall out the auger, okay? So when you put in these new paddles, it's a good idea to take a sander and sand off the edge a little, put a little bit of a radius right here to make sure that this thing spins freely. When you take it by your hand, it spins freely. And I will do that modification on here and then refilm it when I've sanded them down and it spins freely, and I'll show you. But once that spins freely, then it should be able to take all the power and really do a good job. Now, one thing that I noticed too on this, the belt was very, very loose, and I didn't have a belt for it, and the dealer was out at the time. So what I had to do was adjust to get the most tension I could in order to get it to spin. And if you noticed, I used all the adjustment that it had, where the bottom cable is all the way up and the top cable is all the way down. That's the most adjustment you'll ever get out of it. It was the only way that I could get enough tension on it to move that thing, okay? Because the belt was so worn. I do have a new belt. I'm going to put that in, and I will show you what's going on with that. So this thing, it'll be my job to get this thing so the paddle spins freely, the new belt's installed, and then this thing should kick some butt. All right, we'll talk to you in a little bit. All right, guys, in order to change the belt on this, basically you've got 5 3/8 hex head of the sheet metal type screws, okay? Then you've got some 5/16 head screws with 3/8 nuts on the back, and there's 1, 2, 3, okay? And those are on the bottom, okay, over here, all right? Then you have a belt guide here, which you could just bend down and remove the belt, and then the belt should just come right out. And you can see this belt is totally sloppy, okay? All right, and then, like I said, you can bend down the belt guide with one finger while pushing out the belt with the other. Try and do it on camera, it's fun. Okay, you go like that, and then boom, your belt is out. Okay, like I said, this belt, original belt, it's worn. Can you see the part number on it? 333721. So we got a 333721. So we're gonna stick that belt back on there, and then we're going to adjust it the right way. And once we do that, then we'll go on the front. So let me just slip that on. I'll be right back. Hard to do with one hand in the camera, but it works good. It works really good. It blew that stuff over there, 15 feet or so, and as I tell you, now that it's got the new belt on it, it works a lot better. Okay. All right. So that's the Murray. I still don't think it's as good as the MTD. I mean, the MTD just seemed to throw it a lot better, scrape a lot better. I just like the design of the MTD, but the Murray, not bad. So the verdict, I like the MTD design better than I like the Murray design, but my favorite though is still the Toro paddles. The Toro, still a good design. I still like the Toro better when it comes to the single stage. So again, you want to clean up your driveway, you want to make sure the pavement's clean, get a single stage, you have big, heavy, wet snow, all kinds of massive snow, get the dual stage, the 2-stage. This one here was an $80 Craigslist find, runs great. Guy put an LED light on it. I mean, it's ugly, but it works great. So you make the call, but I'm just telling you, for some cheap paddles to replace and a $16 to $20 belt to replace, you know, even the Murrays aren't too bad. Like I said, MTD, I like them the best as far as the cheaper versions. If you're gonna spend some money, go with the Toro. But like I said, single stage, I do like them. So, all right guys, that'll be it for now. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right guys, we're back. I lost the footage on the belt install. The battery went dead. So, you know, look at how I took it out. Just put it back in the same way, no big deal. All right, but what I really want to talk about was on these paddles, okay? The end of the paddle, what I do is I go in there with like a flap disc on a grinder, and I grind a little, you know, bigger radius on there, bigger than it was. So when you have this thing, you should be able to just by hand, see, nice and easy. It just spins nice and easy with one finger. Nice and easy. Okay, nice and easy. What was happening is down here, this wear edge was all flapped up, and there was no way. I tried to rebend it, it wouldn't bend. So I just snipped it off a little bit. So now it doesn't hit. And on this side here, it was hitting a little bit, so I just sanded it down a little bit so it didn't hit. I took a little radius on the edge too of that. But now you want to make sure you get very little resistance, if anything, okay? You're gonna get some, but you want very little. This way, that auger doesn't rob the power coming from the engine, and it'll spin and it'll fling the snow. All right, that's all I wanted to say, guys. When you put in these rubber paddles, make sure you have a generous radius on the end, because sometimes they come sharp. You know, take a little die grinder, some with flapper wheel on it, and just bend, you know, radius it over a little bit. So this way it doesn't hit, and you can wing nice and easy. This will work a lot better now than before, when this thing was bent up and actually, I couldn't even push it before. It actually would jam, and that's probably what killed the belt as well. Even though it was loose, it probably killed it. So just a quick tip on that. Make sure when you replace these paddles, they spin freely. All right, that's it. Talk to you later.